Now we come to the commodity market. This is agweb.com. Some of the market futures. What's a market future? Basically, this commodity market. You have grains, livestock, softs, energy, financials, all those sorts of things. You can look at that and you can say, okay, the 10-year note, the 30-year bond, 5-year T-note, 2-year T-note, 30-day federal funds, 10-year swaps, 5-year swaps. Those are the financial things, and there are many more. Like the 1 month Libra, European, Euro Yen, Euro Dollar. All that really means is what they're trading, what they're getting a pricing for, or what they're trying to get a futures for. Basically what they're saying, okay, this is what we think it's going to be worth. This is what we think it's worth now. We're bidding and asking just like you would with a stock in that respect. And that kind of says, okay, well, this is what we believe it's going to be in the future. That's essentially what I call futures. Now, if you're talking about energies, obviously you're going to have crude oil, heating oil, gasoline, natural gas, ethanol, some of the major energy oils and things. What do they think the oil prices are going to be? What do they think the heating oil and the gasoline prices, natural gas, ethanol, all the major things that are used, commodities or energy-wise. Softs are known as things that are grown and used in that nature. Like, for example, cotton, orange juice, coffee, cocoa, lumber, sugar. So when you think about Hershey's, you think about cocoa, that's a soft. Think about cotton, you think about your shirts and Levi's and so forth, that would be known as a soft, with cotton in it. Okay, so you have livestock, you have live cattle, feeder cattle, lean hogs, you have butter, class 3 or class 4 milk, skim milk, cheese. What are the differences in those? A live cattle is essentially the ones that go out and graze. The feeder cattle are the ones that are kept into the feeder bins and they're given their food right there. You have the grains. Different grains are usually corn, soybeans, soybean meal, soybean oil. As you can see, soybean is a big one. The Chicago wheat, the Kansas City wheat or KC wheat, the Minnesota wheat, oats, the rough rice, barley, and distiller dried grains. In other words, the things that distillers use. Those are some of the grains that they have for commodity markets. If you want to look at the pricing of these, there's some other ones here for currencies and so forth. These are what's known as exotic. Most of these are known as exotic currencies and so forth. Just because they're not a major pair in the forex market. If you want to take a look at the actual commodities listings and so forth, we can understand some of these things. You have the grain, the livestock, and the energies on the list here. For example, you have corn, July 6th, 349.6S, 14.2. What does that mean? That essentially means that as of July 2016, they're wanting 349 cents, and it's a 14.2% change, 14.2 cent change as of July 8th. That's what the price for corn is in that type. A future in, for example, December is 362 cents. They're quoted in cents. So anyway, you have a 362 for December, say for example, 349 for July. As you can see, the further away it goes, the more likely they are to have a better price quoted. In other words, it's going to cost you more because they believe it's going to be more. So if you can see here, in 5 months' time, you have 13 cents difference. Okay. Essentially, a lot of these things have to do with farming and the different aspects of what's grown and what's put on a farm and so forth. What's taken out of the ground and that sort of thing. These are all essentially the same type of an idea, whether it's soybeans or soybean meal and so forth. It's just essentially how much they think it's worth at a certain time, certain specific time, that they think is going to be in the future, based on the weather. It's based on different aspects of what might happen, and that's what makes the price go up and down, and of course demand and supply and all that